everybody thinks they're so busy, and you don't have time for this or that. And, the BRC takes a commitment from the veteran. So you control your destiny. You have to be willing to help yourself and help your family. And if you have that drive, the VA will provide the services.
I think losing my vision had me evaluate where my life was going. But as far as letting my disability stop me, it never has. I think initially it definitely stopped me in my tracks. But I think once I realized that there was other ways to get around and do things, it actually became an asset.
Nice. Awesome.
Is that okay?
Yep. And then I'm just gonna come in and take this. That's good. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
All right.
I'm actually the executive director of Wisdom for the Blind and an ambassador for the BVA. I served in the United States Navy, stationed all over the world and in Guam. I got involved with the BRC in West Palm about 4 years ago. I went in for ORCAM training and also for an iPhone training. And at that time I was actually talked into joining the BVA, and from there I started the nonprofit Wisdom for the Blind just to help other blinded veterans.
And then you said you joined into the BRC about 4 years ago. How did you hear about the BRC program at the West Palm Beach VA?
So I was working with our VIS coordinator out of Broward, April, and we were talking about different technologies to help me. I work in the marine industry, so I do a lot of work on ships and need to be able to get my job done. So we just talked about different technologies such as the ORCAM, and so she said, well, go up there and speak to them and see what you think. I went up there and actually met with Gavino, who's now the chief up there, and went through different technologies and saw the ORCAM and what it did, and basically decided that it was good. So then we followed up with some training sessions and went up there, and I was living at the facility. It's, they have both live-in or they did remote during COVID, and lived on the premise and went through the training with the instructors, very cool instructors.
Makes you look nice and comfortable.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My name is Gavino Ladis. I am the service chief for the Blind Rehabilitation Unit and have been serving at the VA here in West Palm Beach for the last 11 years this coming October. We do provide services and programs at the VA here where our veterans are admitted and they stay with us. It's a inpatient facility, so they live with us for anywhere between 2 to 4, 5 weeks, depending on their needs and goals. We assess them, provide training on computers, iPads, iPhones, MacBooks, iMacs, anything that is computer-based, but also there's built-in either accessibility software that comes with those types of computers, or we purchase additional specialized software that will enlarge, or screen readers that will read the entire screen to them so that they're able to produce and perform and access a computer just like anybody else, with just having speech output, constantly talking, which is where we teach them how to access those computers with keyboard commands. We also have other technology that is head-borne per se, or head-mounted. It's attached to maybe their glasses, or they wear it, similar to gaming goggles that they would wear, but it has a cell phone that's attached that would allow them to take images and have text read back to them, or to be able to see a little bit further away from what their vision allows with the access technology. So there's so much of it. It's very specialized, but that's the whole intent of them coming to our center, is to learn how to use that access technology, but also learn other basic skills that you would need as a non-sighted traveler: orientation and mobility, living skills, low vision, to be able to stay as independent as you desire to be. A lot of our veterans are older, therefore that geriatric population needs to be able to self-sustain, to do basic skills on everyday use. So that's kind of our mission at the center, is to provide that training that they may not readily receive in their home environment. So they come to us for an inpatient facility to provide that service throughout the state.
The blind rehab is open, to both blinded and low vision veterans. I personally have diabetic retinopathy. I lost my eyesight because of diabetes, and my right eye is totally blind. My left eye, I can see the big E, and that was all caused by exposure to toxins when I was in the military. And as I got older, those symptoms started to come, up front and impacted my eyes. So they handle all kinds of different eye diseases, and that's why every veteran, it's kind of like a custom environment, because one tool for me might not be the same tool that would help another veteran.
Well, that's cool. So they tailor your program based on your needs specifically.
On your needs and your goals, yes.
That's awesome.
And they actually, the Viz coordinator sits with, when you first get in there, they sit and they have an orientation conference call with the Viz coordinator and the instructors and the case manager, and they set a plan for you. And then that plan is fitted for you, and then you have the goals. And then halfway through, you do another review, and then at the end, a final review. So the programs that they have at the VRCs are great. They get the spouses involved with workshops and reviews. So, the spouses are a big part of a veteran that is blind and has, I don't want to say a challenge, but an issue that they have to deal with. So it's well versed all the way around.
How do you feel the tools that the BRC has kind of allotted you with benefited you in your personal life? Do you think it's helped?
Well, I think it's helped. I'll share a story. So I went to the BRC for the org camp. We talked about it, and I remember during the training, it was Father's Day, so my daughter and my wife came up to take me out to dinner, and my wife likes goat cheese, and so we were reading through the menu, and I had my org cam, and the first time since we've been married, I was able to tell her, hey, there's scallops and goat cheese on the menu. She didn't see it, because in the past, she's always read the menu to me. So now I read it to her.
That's awesome. And that's all from you going to the BRC
Yeah.
and getting some of the devices that they have.
Oh, a little emotional, sorry.
No, that's awesome that you're able to share that with someone you love
Yeah.
very dearly and still have those experiences that are important.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
it just shows, the training is there, and in the beginning, I was hesitant because the program takes commitment from the veteran. Everybody thinks they're so busy, and you don't have time for this or that, and the BRC takes a commitment from the veteran, and I had to give a commitment to go up there for a few weeks, and I'm like, well, I'm busy, and I run a business, and I got this and I got that. But April and Gavino and we all talked about it, and we said, okay, well, you're pretty much technically, savvy, so we'll modify it a little, and was able to get up there. And I think I was there for 3 weeks.
Mr. Keeley is a veteran out of the Fort Lauderdale area. He is still working. He runs a podcast that he generated on his own in tandem with another blind or visually impaired veteran out of North Florida that we served both of them at our facility and trained them how to use the technology and the access technology to be able to perform what they're doing now. How to use for example, he learned how to use his iMac better with the access technology that's built in and the various settings that would enable him to access that type of technology so that he could direct and run the podcast that he oversees currently, which is the Wisdom for the Blind. And he was obviously always worked as a contractor as well. I don't know if he continues to do that type of work, but obviously access technology allowed him to continue to remain as independent as he is And he's now our ambassador through the Blinded Veterans Association, which is a national organization that advocates for blinded veterans throughout the country.
What advice would you give to a veteran that may be visually impaired or blind, that's like you were reluctant to go to the BRC at West Palm Beach, VA?
Oh.
No, that's fine.
That's my boy. Yeah. Don't fight it, you know. It's going to help you, it's going to help your family, and it's going to help the quality of life, you know. And also don't be upset if they recommend different technologies or different paths, because every veteran's different, every eye disease is different, you know. Give it an opportunity.
I would encourage all veterans with a visual disability to give us the opportunity to serve them so that they can regain that sense of independence and how to learn new methodology and techniques, skills, equipment that may enable them to remain as independent as they choose to be or want to be. Yes, driving, we can never regain that skill or that ability due to the loss of vision, but there's always alternative ways to navigate using paratransit, various, like Uber or Lyft or some of those services that are available out there, but training them how to do that through their apps and their iPhones or whatnot to be able to promote and rebuild their confidence that they're losing by not having those services readily available to them in their home environment.
How do you keep going? How is that struggle, realizing that you're losing your vision and you're still able to push through?
Well, in the past, when this whole thing started, and I told you, the toxins started to take place in your body, I lost my kidneys and was actually on dialysis for 4 years. At the same time, I ran a company, and so I would get up in the morning at 5 in the morning, I'd go to dialysis for 3.5 hours. I'd leave that, then I'd go work on a ship somewhere. And at the same time, I was blind. I had very low vision in the left eye, no vision in the right eye. But you have to go. You can't let your challenges control your life.
Having a disability is not easy, and it's going to be very challenging. When there's a barrier in place, there's always a way to get around it. There is always a way to modify the way that you accomplish that task. It's just working with others, using what resources you may have, the technology, or just troubleshooting how can I resolve the issue that's in front of me and not let it get the upper hand at all times. But I think once I realized that there was other ways to get around and do things, it actually became an asset. The ability to relate to them as they're going through their adjustment period is very powerful. Letting them know what it is like and what it feels like and understanding what they're going through, it's an instant connection. And that's something that I use towards my advantage in providing that training, to having the veteran not shut down on me, but on the contrary, kind of open up and trust us more to provide that service that they're here to receive from us. For sure.
That sounds like West Palm got the right man for the job.
Well, hey, I love my job. I love what I do, and the veterans definitely is giving back for me, having the ability to serve the heroes that served our country, for sure, and serve those that have served in order for me to have those rights and freedoms that I truly enjoy every day. And that's very true.
You have to be willing to help yourself and help your family. And if you have that drive to be able to provide the services,